I'm Daniela Leon, the Young Ambassador in Inspiring Girls Switzerland. We are continuing with our series, Inspiring Interviews, where I interview role models in various fields to showcase as many career options as possible to us young girls. Today I'm interviewing Susanne Sutter. Hello Susanne, how are you?
Hello Daniela, I'm very good. How are you?
Good, good. Could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm a professor at the FHNW University of Applied Sciences of Northwestern Switzerland, and I'm at the School of Engineering. I'm there teaching, and I'm also doing research projects with a lot of innovation, mostly in the area of machine learning and artificial intelligence. And my background is computer science, and I basically always worked with a lot of data and how to process it in an automated way.
And what did you want to do when you were my age?
When I was at your age, I had the idea of being self-employed. I didn't really have a specific field in mind, but many of my uncles, they were self-employed, and somehow I liked this idea of being my own boss. And yeah, so they were somehow my role models, but I only decided very late in my school that I want to do computer science.
And what exactly do you do in computer science?
So you mean specifically in my field, I guess?
Yeah, exactly.
So on the one hand, I'm doing projects in computer science. So this means I'm developing applications. It could be, for example, an app as you know it from your smartphones, or it could be a website, but mostly I was working with visual data, so with images and also 2D and 3D images. But then sometimes I'm also working with sensor data. As you could know from smartwatches, nowadays they track a lot of parameters. I still have an old watch, but I still analyze a lot of this data. And what we are doing is we try to find certain patterns or certain systematics, or we want to predict things for the future. For example, in medical applications, I work a lot in medical applications. There we work with images that were taken for medical purposes, and we are trying to classify in an automated way, for example, where there could be a disease or if a patient is healthy or not. But then I also do, on the other side, next to my projects, I also do teaching. So I teach young students how to be a data scientist or computer scientist.
And how did you know you wanted to work in computer science?
I didn't know for a long time, but I got inspired by my father. My father, he had a computer very early on because the company he was working for, they promoted to have computers. So he was very interested and he learned to do programming kind of next to his normal job. And then on the weekends, he always told me many things or taught me many things on the computer. First, it started with some simple games, but later, yeah, he also showed me how to do calculations or how to write things. And so I was always interested, and I remember he always wanted to show me so many things that after I was always so eager to try it myself, but he said, "Oh, I just want to show you one more thing." And then I was very eager to try it myself. And I was at school always one of the first ones who knew about computers. And so it was something that was in my, that were some of my skills, but I didn't really consider to study computer science for a long time. I was interested in many things. I was interested in arts, also in sports. I was interested in biology and also in pharmacy. And then first I was going for something with visualization or graphics. And at one point, exactly, but I always didn't pass. I was applying for some schools, but for arts, but I didn't pass the arts exam. And then someone told me at one point, why don't you do computer science? Because you're already good at it. And also in the future, all these visualizations will be on the computer. And then I thought, oh yeah, this is a good idea. And that's when I decided to do computer science. And what I like about it also is that I can apply it to many fields. It's not just limited to computer science. If I'm a computer scientist, I learn also about biology. If I work do a program for biologists, or if I work with a bank, I learn something about banking. So it's very diverse. That's what I like.
And what do you enjoy more, teaching or working on your projects?
I think what is very important for me is to have a very diverse daily life. So if I would only do teaching, I think I would get bored. But also if I only do one project, I would also get bored. And in my position now, it's nice that I can integrate the experience that I have from projects into the teaching. So I think it's a really nice combination, and I wouldn't want to do just one of them.
Well, focusing on the teaching, what is something that you like or dislike about that?
I really like to work with young people, and I like to see how they progress. And what I also like is to somehow mentor them, or to guide people on their path, what they want to do in their professional life. And so for me, it's I like the students most who are self-driven, who are motivated. And if I have to say what I don't like about it is if some of the students, they are not really interested in the topic or in studying or to learn something, but if they just come and they do it a little bit for their curriculum, but not because they are interested.
And is it like a computer science? Is it like a male-dominated field, or are there a lot of women?
Until now, it's still quite male-dominated. There are certain fields who start to be taken also by more women. For example, we have a partner institute here that is doing human-computer interaction. So it makes sure that the way the app looks, or a website look, is intuitive, and we can easily find the buttons that we need, or other type of interactions. And this is more, so it seems that women take this field more, and we also see in our study programs that this type of computer science programs who include the human-computer interaction are more taken by females. So I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think it's for sure it's much higher than just plain computer science. But in general, it's very typical to have one woman out of 10 in this field, of 10 people.
And Why do you think that few girls select to study plain computer science?
I think it has a lot to do with our social bias and how we learn, how we grow up, and we see role models. So probably in our environment, we don't see so many females who do computer science, but there is more men who do this kind of work, or maybe also in TV or in social media. We don't have many role models in this field, and that's why I think it's so great that you do these interviews, that girls have role models for all kinds of professions, and then they can see where they are inspired. And also for the social bias, I think it's quite common that women or girls, they should be pretty and they should be caring, and for boys it's more they should be strong and should be smart. So we have learned this very early on from our environment, from our family, from our friends, that this is more typical, and then we also want to belong to a group who is similar than we are. So we often choose professions that are popular, for example, also for our gender.
And how do you think we could break this bias?
I think one important thing that we just talked about is to show role models, also to be present, and and then I think it's also good that girls or boys also, they actually go and see what do these people who are computer scientists or data scientists, what do they do and what is possible to do. So I think it's very important that in early age we inspire the young people with our profession. So they need to have certain possibilities to join workshops or to watch something on YouTube or wherever, where they can get inspired for this field.
And talking about inspiring girls, what advice would you give girls that want to follow your path?
I think most important it is to have some sort of fascination and be inspired. And I think it's also important to know, we often think, especially as women or as girls, that we need to know already everything before we apply for a job or we apply for a university school. But I think we should have the courage to also say, oh, this is interesting, I want to do it, even though if we don't know already how to do it. But normally we learn much more when we sign up or when we try something we didn't know before, and then we are already one step ahead, because in our field it's so fast changing. We cannot rely on only things that we know. We have to constantly learn new things. So my recommendation is just to say, oh, I want to do this, even though if I don't know it yet.
Well, thank you so much, Susan, for being today here with us and for telling us your story.
You're welcome. I'm very excited to be here with you in the interview, Daniela, and I wish you to inspire many, many girls with whatever professions.
Thank you so much.